Good evening and welcome out to tonight's Tackle Trading Onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be taking you through the website this evening, showing you around a little bit, letting you know what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that jazz. I hope everyone had a happy holiday as we get winding down this year and see, well, Santa Claus rally so far is in effect, right? We'll see if it can continue as we get moving forward. I do like to break tackle trading into three core parts when I'm explaining it: the things that you do on your own, courses, some of the tools, blogs, things of that nature, things that you can do with others, basically the schedule, what are we doing our live content, where do you find it? And then lastly, our weekend reports where we share ideas with our community. So that's kind of the way we'll come at it here this evening as well. I mean, at the heart of it, really, at least to me, tackle trading is just a bunch of traders that have come together to bounce ideas around with one another, share experiences, help one another out. And while nobody can make anybody's trades for them, we can certainly share ideas, what's working, what's not, all of that stuff. And I think together we can become better traders. And so to me, that's really what tackle trading is all about, is just a community of like-minded traders navigating this market together. Before we dive on in, just a couple of things I would like to briefly mention. Number one is the Huddle podcast. It's a short podcast at the end of the week, just going over the top 10 stories of the trading week, just to make sure maybe, you were a little away last week with it being the Christmas week, you can kind of catch up. Just quick, straight to the point, just to make sure that all of the big stuff is covered. That comes out on Fridays as a Huddle podcast. You can find it just right hitting on this link. Right now, I'm in the Trade Center. In here, you will find a link to tradingjustice.com. It's just tradingjustice.com. And each week, Matt, Tim, and Mark will deliver the Trading Justice podcast. It's going to be much more long form podcast. It's great. It's really informative, a lot of fun to listen to. Definitely worth incorporating into your weekly routine. You can find both of those podcasts on your major providers, or you can, catch the Huddle on that link and, catch the Trading Justice podcast at tradingjustice.com as well. There is also a really nice monthly newsletter that they do over at Trading Justice that I do think is very much worth checking out each and every month. So this link right here will take you over to Trading Justice, but a couple things that I think that you might find helpful for your weekly routine. And also just like to mention, next Monday night at 8:30 Eastern, we will be hosting a special webinar right here on our YouTube channel on the boomerang strategy. If you're unfamiliar with boomerangs, it's a cash flow strategy where we sell naked puts to, get in, and eventually we get the stock put to us. Then we start selling covered calls against those shares. That is it in a nutshell. It could be very popular. It's a very interesting cash flow strategy. We'll be diving deeper into it next Monday. That's going to be January 3rd, I believe, at 8:30 Eastern, right here on this very YouTube channel. Don't be sure to join us. Of course, you can hit that little reminder bell. I think there's a reminder option, or at least there will be as we get closer. So hope to see you over there as well. With all of that said, let's get to work, right? So it's the holidays. It's the holiday season. Let's start with the things that you can do on your own. And to me, at least, the thing that jumps out to me the most is courses. We offer a variety of courses to our pro members. The 7-step guide to trading is available to everyone. It's in a way, it's kind of an introduction to the tackle trading way. There's no two traders that are exactly alike, right? Everybody's got their own rules and systems and flavors and risk tolerance and all of that fun stuff. But I do think as a collective whole, we do share some, I guess, really core beliefs here at Tackle Trading as a community. From starting at the top of the markets, big proponents of that top-down approach. Starts at the top and work your way down, matching the strategy to the situation, to your bias. We're big watch list traders, so finding candidates for those watch lists, managing those watch lists so we're ready to take action if we get the signals that we need to see. Of course, planning, placing, managing the trade, journaling the trade. So in some ways, it'll kind of give you an idea of the tackle trading approach to the markets. It will also give you some ideas for routine, particularly if you're a newer trader. I know when you're a newer trader, you tend to work hard and put in a lot of time, but it's not necessarily always the most organized approach. And if it is, that's great. I'm hope that that is the case, but maybe you can get some ideas to help you from that point of view as well. If you're an old vet in the market, you probably have a routine now, but maybe there's a gem or two in there that can make your routine a little bit better as well. Of course, as traders, technical analysis, charting is going to be, a big part of what we're doing. And that's true whether we're swing traders, day traders, option traders, crypto traders, Forex traders, whatever kind of traders we are going to be using technical analysis. And that Tech 101 course is going to do exactly what you probably think. Charts, and more charts, identifying support, resistance, trend, reversals, candlestick patterns, right? Momentum, all of that fun stuff. Definitely worth checking out, whether you're new or old. If you're new, I mean, that is, in my opinion, the core of all of it. You have to start with the chart. If you're a vet, you probably have some technical analysis skills, but I've yet to meet the trader that was 100% a technical analysis. I don't know that I'll be the first one. I'll try, but I've not got there. That is for sure. So there's always a little bit more we can learn about charting. Of course, we are big fans of options here at Tackle Trading, both from directional and a cash flow perspective. The Options 101 course, we're really going to talk about kind of what's going on when you buy or sell that option. So we're going to talk less about covered calls, credit spreads, diagonal spreads, etc., and really talk about what are the factors that are influencing the price of that option. The better we understand the contract, I think the easier any of those strategies are going to be for us. So the Options 101 course, if you're new or even intermediate in options, I think you can probably get some good value out of that Options 101 course. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex markets, but not exactly known where to start, these introduction courses can be just that. They can be a great place to start to introduce you to what's going on over in those markets. How does that leverage work? What are the things, that are going to be similar to the stock market? What are the things that are going to be different that you need to make sure that you understand? Not everyone wants to trade futures or Forex or both, and that's fine. I mean, the great thing about trading is we can trade what we want, right? But I never want someone to feel like they can't trade futures. They can't trade crypto. They can't trade this. They can't trade that. I want everybody to be able to trade the things that they want, and not trade the things that they don't want. If that makes any sense. So if you've ever been interested in learning about either or both of those markets, this can be a great place to start as well. Regardless of what market you're trading in and what strategies you're employing, we do need to have very clearly designed systems and rules in place, right? And I mean, everyone kind of agrees with that. I don't think that's anything, crazy to say, but it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. This System Development 101 course is really designed to train you to think about your trading from a systematic perspective. It's really designed to train you to become a systems trader. It is a fantastic course, and regardless of where you are in this process, brand new, been at it for years, always just bought calls and are looking to expand out, whatever it is, I would strongly encourage you to go through that system development course. I think you will learn an absolute lot about trading that can really change your trading fortunes. So those are some of the courses available to our pro members. We also, as you can kind of see here, have a handful of premium systems available as well. These are one-time purchases. They're complete systems. The system is yours for life. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system. We'll actually be unveiling the new Tackle 25 here in the very near future. Each year, a group of stocks selected for cash flow purposes. Always a very exciting time of the year when we're doing that, the new edition of the Tackle 25. But it is a covered call-based system. Step system is our swing trading approach, standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors, another cash flow system, this time using credit spreads on the Russell 2000, and the bear market survival guide, protecting our assets, from turns into bearish market conditions and then dealing with those conditions when we get into them. If you would like any more information on any or all of those systems, you can head over to the store. You can send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. We'd be happy to get you some more information. But those are some premium systems that we do offer our team members as well. Not everything has to be a course. We do regular blog content, whether it's more options, the option theory, kind of taking concepts from the ground up with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner, more charting in the Tales of a Technician, hearing from our awesome female traders in the Women in Trading blog. These are just additional ways, short reads or short videos that can just bounce ideas, answer questions, just basically another way that we can communicate with members of our team. So definitely worth incorporating into that weekly routine as well. Over in the trade center, if you'll notice, you'll find a few things. You'll find a link to the clubhouse. That's kind of our own, our own social media type of place where members of the team can, just bounce ideas off of one another and just engage, right? As active on the more normal, traditional social media platforms. But the cool thing about the clubhouse is it is just trading and it is just us. And so if you're just, I hate social media, if that's kind of your stance, would certainly welcome you over to the clubhouse. You'll find a link to our glossary, a link to our trading journals, which we'll talk about here a little bit more in a couple of minutes. You'll also find a link to the Tackle Trading Playbook. This is where you're going to find all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We are going to break our playbook into 3 core areas based off of the option Greeks, Delta, Theta, and Vega. Delta is our directional playbook, right? D for direction. So that's going to include buying stock, but it's also going to include, buying calls or puts, doing debit spreads, doing ratio spreads, diagonal spreads, basically movement-based strategies. I think this stock is going from point A to point B, from 90 to 100, from 50 to 45, right? Movement-based strategies. Then the theta is our cash flow side, theta or time, right? That's where we're selling those options, covered calls, naked puts, credit spreads, etc. And then lastly, the Vega or the volatility playbook. These are bidirectional trades where we're playing the expectations of the volatility of the stock or ETF or whatever we're trading, and not the movement. So we're not too far away from getting back into earnings season, right? A couple of weeks from now, we'll be knocking on the door. We've all probably seen some pretty crazy moves on stocks, both up and down as they've reported those earnings. Maybe based off of a particular stock's history, we think it's a good bet that it's going to move a lot one way or another, but there's no real way that we could know, right? I might think it's going to gap up, but let's be honest, that's literally a guess, right? No matter how I want to spin it, I don't know what a stock's earnings report is going to be, but maybe based off of its history, I want to, build a trade that says, hey, look, it's just going to move a lot one way or the other, big up, big down. I don't care, just move a lot. Maybe that's what its history does. So these are the type of trades that we're going to find over in the Vega or the volatility playbook. In each of these, you will find a detailed video going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose it, our rules for the strategy, placing the strategy, all of that fun stuff. Make sure you're I kind of know not only what the strategy is and how to do it, but when and why we would do it, and at least our rules here at Tackle Trading for that strategy. You'll also notice there's a little PDF download, just a little cheat sheet. So you have easy access to the rules. So how much time am I buying or selling? What's the delta that I'm buying or selling? All of that good stuff to make it a little easier on you. You'll also notice that every one of these has a 0 to plus or minus 3 on them. And that's just kind of where we see it on the, 0 being neutral and plus, 3 being very bullish, minus 3 being very bearish spectrum. So kind of the way I think about it is, 0 is flat neutral, 1 or minus 1 is slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or minus 2 would be bullish or bearish, and then 3 or minus 3 would be very bullish or very bearish. And at least that's kind of the way that I like to think about it. But at least it'll kind of let you know kind of where we see this strategy along that spectrum. You always want to match the strategy to the situation, right? If I think a stock's going to slowly grind up over the quarter, I probably am not just going to go buy a call option, because I'm going to want to, that's a more aggressive strategy, at least in my estimation it is. So I might want to do a strategy that's a little more in line with my view of, how I'm viewing that particular stock at that time. So that's going to be the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center, you'll find a variety of trading tools, as well as kind of a what's going on at Tackle Trading. So you'll know what's our next show, our most recent post, most recent report, most recent tweet. There is a watch list function in here. If you would like to have access to a watch list without having to, log in, to your account every time you want to take a look at some charts, very easy to do. You would just add, whatever it was that you wanted to add. Let's say we wanted to add Macy's to our watch list here. I'm just going to select that. I'm going to hit the plus button, and now Macy's is in my watch list. If I decide, nah, I don't need it anymore, I'll just select it, hit that minus button, and that will get rid of it. So just easy access, on web format to a watch list if you need one. There will be a live showing or a replay to one of our YouTube shows. Typically, it's going to be the halftime report, but looks like there we are right now. Where you are on any of the courses that you might be taking, so you can pick right back up where you left off. Little mini calendar. What does the next immediate future look like here at Tackle Trading as well. You'll also find a variety of tools in here. You'll find a link to our search function, which you can also find this little magnifying glass. And the search function is pretty smart. So if you're ever looking for something and more information on covered calls, for example, quick search can get you a lot of results very, very quickly. Another link to our glossary, which as we saw, so you can find it there in the drop down. A link to a chart if you ever need one. A link to the compounding gains calculator to help remind you the compounding powers of money. We'll come back to the trade journals in a minute. I want to take a dive into them. You'll find another link to our reports, which you'll also find up here on the drop down. A link to the economic calendar, so you know what's on the docket for the day or for the upcoming week that you might want to keep an eye out for. You'll find a news aggregator in here. This is going to go through some of the bigger financial sites, most notably MarketWatch, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, The Times are the names that usually stand out here. Just going to kind of grab me their headlines, get it in one place. And now I can just kind of scroll and, oh, that's interesting. I want to read it. Oh, that's not, I don't. So it's really just designed to save you some time and some bouncing around and some clicks is all. But and there's only so much time in a day, right? You'll find a link to the market skyline. This is just going to have all the big stuff on one page. So all of our index futures, the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, Bitcoin, the emerging markets ETFs, the major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude oil, etc., the sector spider ETFs. All of these things are really important from that top-down approach that we take to the markets, and they have a very important place in our daily and weekly routines. We just wanted it out all in one place, right? You don't have to look at it on this page, but I would encourage you to incorporate, if you aren't doing it already, to incorporate this into your daily routine. I think it'll make you a better trader. We just wanted it all in one spot, right? You'll also find a link to the FinViz heat map for the S&P 500 for the day. This will just bring you to its default to the S&P 500 for today, just a visual of the day that was, right? I mean, it was pretty much a sea of green, right? Just a couple of pockets out there in the red. So without even looking at a chart, we could probably tell it was a pretty strong day in the market, right? Or, when we look at the chart of the market, because we did that first, we could probably tell most of this was going to be the green. That's not always going to be the case, though, right? Sometimes a particular area is going to stand out for one reason or another. So it's just another way to help generate ideas. And while the default is set up to a one-day performance, you can look at the weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, fundamental ratio. So there's a little customization that you can do in there. So just another way to generate ideas and kind of see what was standing out in the market. Today, pretty much everything was standing out, right? In the market. It was one of those days. So that's what you'll find there in the market skyline. If you go into the trade journals, we're going to come into here. You can find the trade journals on the drop down of the Trade Center as well, but I've always preferred to come in from the Trade Center way because it takes you directly to the tutorial. And I'm not a spreadsheet guy. And so when I started using the Tackle Trading Journal for years, I had used basically Frank's Word document, and it worked for me, but it was cumbersome and time consuming. And I was very hesitant to use spreadsheets for quite some time. But then I said, you know what? I'm going to use this Tackle Trading Journal. It took me a little while to get used to it, but I'm really bad at spreadsheets. It was really helpful to have somebody holding my hand a little bit as I got figuring it all out. If you're a spreadsheet person, you're probably laughing and saying, oh, man, yeah, well, that's okay. I've been laughed at for not being able to figure out spreadsheets before, and it probably will again. But for some of us out there, spreadsheets don't come very natural. And so this tutorial should help you out quite a bit. If you do come into the trade journals the way we did here in the Trade Center, if you just scroll down, you can get that downloaded. We do have 3 different journals. We have the trade journal, where, what are we doing? When did we do it? How much of it did we do, right? We just need to let it know what we did and when we did it. It's going to do the rest for us. It's such a powerful tool because now we can kind of see what's working, what's not. It's really an important part of trading. It will make and save you money over the course of your trading career, for sure, in my opinion, at least. The Theta Research tool is where we can build out and compare our different cash flow strategies, Maybe we have 6 different bull put credit spread candidates that we're looking at tonight, but we only want to do 2 of them. Well, let's compare them fairly to one another, right? Let's see which one really stands out. The portfolio journal to help keep organized. I mean, hey, you might have, 30 different positions, right? Between your longer term stuff and your swing trades and your cash flow trades. Being organized is easier said than done sometimes. The portfolio journal is designed to help you stay organized within your overall portfolio. So just select whichever one you wanted and you can get that downloaded in here. And again, you can catch them on that drop down as well. So those are some of the big things that you can do. We've already talked a little bit about the huddle, the TJ podcast, the Trading Jesters newsletter. It's just some things that you can incorporate based off of you and where you're at and kind of what you're working on at any point in time. Hopefully that explained some of those things to you. Let's kind of talk a little bit about the schedule now, the things that you can do with others. Trading sometimes can feel lonely because usually we're kind of by ourselves in our office, our home office. Usually your next door neighbor doesn't want to talk trading with you. We don't know a lot of people in our day-to-day lives that are all excited about the breakout in the market or whatever, right? And so it's important to be around like-minded people, I believe at least. And so we'll start with the daily. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to host our Traders Lounge right here on Tackle Trading. We're going to get together with the team for an hour and basically just answer questions, talk about what our team needs. It's a great place where if you're struggling with something, if you need a more explanation, if you got a trade idea, if you got a trade you're managing, who knows, what you'll want to talk about, what questions you'll have, but we'll all have those, right? And the lounge is designed for just that. It's informal. It's really a lot of fun. You'll get to know other traders. You'll get some good trade ideas in there. Most of the time when I'm listening to it, I'm just lurking in the background and someone will bring up a chart and I'll look at it and I'll say, yep, thank you. I'll take that one. So you'll find good trade ideas. You'll meet good people. But, most importantly, or at least as importantly, you can get questions that you are having right now answered live and in person. So that's every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern right here at Tackle Trading. Shortly after the lounge is over, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel for the Tackle Trading Halftime Report at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, live looking at the market, taking that top-down approach, going through that daily routine, what's going on in the market today, how is it impacting our charts, the different components of the market, right? Stocks in the news, really kind of working, that top-down analysis each and every day to make sure we're staying up to date with what's going on in the market. It is live on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, but of course, being on YouTube, the drill. Once it's over, it will just, be posted directly to our channel. So lounge here at 11, halftime report on our YouTube channel at 12:30. Every single day the market's going, we'll be rolling with the team as well. Then we'll have our evening schedule on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We do what I would consider the flagship show of Tackle Trading, and that's the Coaches Show, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights. We're a couple of days into the trading week, right? So we can do a quick market skyline. Hey, is anything standing out, whether it's from a bullish, bearish, or cash flow perspective? So it gives us an opportunity because sometimes, some things are really looking interesting on Tuesday night, right? Sometimes, not so much, but sometimes they really are. So it allows us to do that. But what I love about it is that it allows us to take one of the many concepts that's out there to talk about in the trading world, whether it's, pattern based, like trading bull flags, trading bear breakdowns, whether it's indicator based, using the RSI, using moving averages, whether it's strategy selection, when to, buy calls versus do bull calls, whether it's portfolio design, watch list management, stop loss management. I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about, right? And the Coaches Show really allows us to kind of zero in and take a really deep dive into one of those things pertinent to, what we're going through in the market right now, what's happening, what members of our community are asking for or needing from us. So it really allows us to take a deep dive that's really, on the nose for what's going on in today's market. It's live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights. Of course, it's also recorded and archived. You can't make it. We understand schedules are schedules. While we love to have our team there live with us, we do get it. You can always watch it at a more convenient time. You can watch it again. You can watch previous episodes on subjects that interest you. You'll find them all there in that link. On Thursday nights at 8:30 Eastern, we do our cash flow club. This is going to be a little more narrowly focused, as the name would suggest, on those cash flow strategies, building and managing those credit spreads, covered calls, naked puts, iron condors, right? We're big cash flow traders. At least a lot of us are here at Tackle Trading. I think it has a place in everybody's portfolio. For some people more than others probably, but I think there's always a place for it. So we'll be really talking about building and managing those type of trades every Thursday night in the Cash Flow Club. Just like the Coaches Show, it's recorded, archived, easy to find in there if you can't make it live or if you want to watch a previous episode on a particular strategy or subject that interests you. On Wednesday night, we do two different things. I'm going to come into the events calendar for this one. At 7 Eastern, right here on our YouTube channel, we do our Trade Masters webinar on Wednesdays. Two coaches will come together with some trade ideas and basically bounce them off one another, and members of our team in the chat. Members of the team will vote on whose ideas they like the best, and that person is declared the trade master for the week. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's really designed just, by the time we're, Wednesday night or afternoon after the market is closed, as watch list traders, sometimes we need a few new trade ideas in our watch list. The Monday morning breakouts have got in, or never broke out, or I got in and hit my stop loss, or I got in and it's halfway to my target. So sometimes we just need some new watch list candidates into the second half of the week. Is really as simple as that. It's just a great way to be able to share both directional and theta-based ideas with members of our team. There's no bad way, in my opinion, at least, to come up with a trading idea. And that's really what we're doing there each Wednesday night at 7 Eastern in our Trade Masters webinar, again, right here on our YouTube channel. And then shortly after that is over at 8:30 Eastern, we're going to come back over here to Tackle Trading for our nightly lounge, our Wednesday night lounge. It's going to be very similar to the lounge that we do, each Monday through Friday in the morning, where, members of our team that maybe are working during those times and can't come in and directly ask their questions and need some help. We can, of course, be more than happy to answer those questions for you. We're also just coming out of the Trade Masters webinar. So if we have any questions or need to have a little bit more discussion on any of the strategies or setups that we talked about in that webinar, this gives us a great forum to do that as well. So that's the Wednesday schedule. So it's kind of a twofer right here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern for the Trade Masters webinar, and then heading back over to Tackle Trading at 8:30 for our nightly lounge. Each member of each of our different premium systems, the Tackle 25 step system, cash flow condors, bear market survival guide, each month we get, each month, I want to say that the right way. Each month we get together with members of those individual teams in a mastermind group. So Tackle 25 mastermind group, step mastermind group. We get together with members of those teams and discuss what's going on over there. We invite all of our pro members to join in on those discussions as well. So you can come in and see what's going on with any of those. If you would like to, we certainly invite our pro members to do so. We have a tremendously awesome team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. They get together about once a month in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. It tends to be towards the end of the month, but I'm a dude. I don't get to go, right? I don't know exactly what's happening in that group, but I have no doubt. I know the team. I know what awesome people and traders they are. I have no doubt they're having a lot of fun, getting some good work done, helping one another out. So if you are a woman in trading, or have a woman in trading in your life, I would definitely be on the lookout for that next Women in Trading Mastermind group and get to know the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading. Sorry, fellas, you're just gonna have to find something else to do that day, just like me. But do keep a lookout for that. Coach M and the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading, I have no doubt, are having some good times in there and get some good work done. We do offer what we call trading labs. These are a subscription-based product. We have 3 different ones with Coach Tyler, Coach Emily, and Coach Mark. They're just smaller groups that get together once a week in a mastermind group of their own. They've got private Discord channels where they're bouncing ideas and kind of working through the market together. They're relatively new. There's been a lot of great feedback on them. If you're interested in any of them, we are more than happy to get you set up with a trial, and you can kind of see what's going on in those different labs. Just let us know. You can find that store tab, or again, you can always send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. Kind of in a overly simplified way to think about it is the morning lounge is for your questions, for members of our team, very specifically to get what they need from us, whatever that might be, right? The halftime report is really all about that daily routine, right? Going through the market, staying on top of everything. And then the evening shows where we can really kind of take that deeper dive, put that teacher's hat on a little bit, if you will, and go a little bit deeper into some of these topics. And that is certainly an overly simplified way to think about it, because as you can imagine, there's going to be crossover in all of them. But maybe as you're getting to know us, that will help keep it a little bit more organized for you. So we'll keep you plenty busy each and every week. Now let's talk about the reports. At the end of the week, we're all getting together as a team of coaches in what we call our scouting report meeting, talking markets, how we're seeing the markets, the sectors, commodities, setups, all of that fun stuff. And out of that comes our weekend reports that we get delivered to our team by Saturday afternoon. Our Tackle newsletter is kind of, again, that top-down approach. That's exactly what we're doing here in the newsletter each and every week. There's a reason that it's the first step in the 7-step guide to trading. We all apply that here at Tackle Trading. And that's exactly what we're doing here in the Tackle newsletter. So give a quick recap of the week that was, right? To make sure you didn't miss any of the big stuff. For someone like me, I'm around the market like all day. And so how do you miss anything? But I also know that that's just me. Not everybody's sitting around the market from open to close pretty much every day like I am. So make sure that you're up to date on, what's going on in the market right now. As far as that goes, we'll talk about some sectors, the volatility index, the upcoming economic calendar, things we might want to keep an eye out for. Of course, we'll have a video talking you through this stuff, where we are in the broad market, be it the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, or the Russell, kind of where they are technically and what our read of those markets are. You'll find the ETFs that track those markets if you need them, DIA for the Dow, QQQ for the NASDAQ, IWM for the RUT, and SPY for the S&P. The internals of the market, this is going to look, just to see, what do the internals look like, right? When we look at the S&P 500, for example, it's a market, it's a weighted index, right? And that's just, just what it is, not necessarily good or bad. It's just really weighted. Well, the stocks at the top are monsters, right? Amazon, Apple, Google, these stocks are absolutely enormous, right? And so when we look at the internals of the market, sometimes we can get a better idea of the relative strength or weakness of the overall market itself. You probably, we've all seen the day where the S&P's up, but your bullish positions aren't. And you think, well, what's going on there? Well, the S&P's, just one thing, right? So we can take a look at the internals of the market. We're also going to rank the sectors each week based off of what we're seeing within those sectors. Now, what you're seeing here is the scoreboard. We're going to use the sector spider ETFs. And if you're unfamiliar with them, it is important to know a little bit about them. What the sector spiders do is they're ETFs. The ETF provider's website is just sectorspdr.com. That's the ETF provider's website if you want more information about the actual ETFs. They go into the S&P 500 and they pull out stocks by sector. So XLE, for example, is the energy sector ETF. So it's gone into the S&P, it pulled out all the energy stocks, Exxon, Chevron, SLB, COG, etc., weighted them accordingly. These are based off of the S&P, so they're going to be weighted just like the S&P 500 is, and puts them into one fund. So I'm getting an isolated look at the price action today and overall of the energy sector versus, say, the real estate sector, right? Versus, say, the communications sector, etc. These are really great ways to kind of follow along and what's going on in these different sectors. And that's kind of how we're building our reports. Now, we're not ranking them based off of what XLV, the healthcare sector ETF, looks like. We're basing it off of what the stocks that make up that ETF are looking like. So we're looking at all of these stocks each and every week as we're coming up with our ratings. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. As you can kind of see here, it's on a football field. Between the 40s is neutral territory. We're not a particularly aggressive bunch, I would say, at Tackle Trading. Between 40 and 20 is slightly bullish or bearish. 20 to the goal line is bullish or bearish. It's extremely unlikely you'll ever see us put an entire sector in minus or +3 territory. I never want to say never. but it seems extremely unlikely that that'll ever happen, because there's a lot of stocks that make up these ETFs, and to be plus or minus three, basically all of them would have to be 100% plus or minus threes, right? Which is, I've never seen it personally, at least not enough to my liking. I don't think I've ever put, a whole sector at plus or minus three. Stocks, sure, really normal, right? But a whole sector, a little bit of a different story. We're going to break our sectors into three core areas. Growth is going to be reflected in blue. That's going to be technology, discretionary, and communications. These are the growth-based sectors of the market. The cyclical-based sectors are going to be represented in yellow. That's financials, industrials, energy, and basic materials. And then the defensive sectors of the market will be in this plummy color. That's healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities. Each week, we're going to be, potentially moving them up or down based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that make up those sectors. Are they getting stronger, weaker, building momentum, still stuck in a range? Nothing's changed. Whatever the case might be, that will be reflected in our rankings. And again, we can kind of talk you through that thought process there in the video portion of the newsletter. So that is the sector rankings. And again, they'll be moving each and every week. At the end of our meeting, we do a rapid fire where each coach can share their favorite bullish and favorite bearish setup that we talked about for our stock and options report. Just hey, which one do you like the most and why do you like it the most? So just a fun way to end the meeting, and our team does seem to enjoy it. It's fun to do. It's a really fun way to end the meeting. We are over on Discord. If you are a pro member of Team Tackle, I certainly invite you to join us on our Discord channel. It's a great way to be able to, just engage with other traders, bounce ideas around. I like to do a Wednesday scan because, like I said, as a watch list trader, sometimes by Wednesday afternoon, I need some new stocks in my watch list. And so, typically, some of my favorites that I found in my scanning, it's an easy way for me to be able to share, but it's really just a great way to be able to share and communicate with other members of the team. So if you are a pro member, come on over, join us over on Discord. You can find that link right in here. There'll be a friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation. And, it's always funny when you say it, it's like, of course I'm going to do that. But sometimes we can get in our head that, I'm going to sell a naked put. I'm going to buy a put. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and try to bully our way into a trade, if you will. A friendly reminder doesn't hurt, right? To make sure you're matching the strategy to the situation. You will find a pre-built scanner in here as well. So if a particular area has caught your attention, say you are liking the reversal, the signs of reversal that you're seeing over in the communications sector of the market. Maybe are, maybe aren't. But let's just go with that one. This is going to bring you to a pre-built scanner. We've got it for each of the sectors, of course. This is just going to bring you back to FinViz. This is a pre-built scanner of what I refer to as trader-friendly stocks. And all I mean by that is they're very liquid, so it's really easy to trade shares. They're shortable, so if I'm going short, I can do that. They're all optionable. Now, just because a stock is optionable doesn't mean those options are particularly friendly to trade. If you're an option trader, you know that already. If you're not, you'll learn all about it, and it's important to learn about it in that Options 101 course. You don't want to get stuck in an illiquid option. I would say as a whole, these things are pretty option friendly, but there are definitely names in here that I would personally never trade options on. But that's fine. I can trade the equity in those scenarios if that's if that's the case. And if I'm completely opposed to trading shares, well, then I just won't trade that stock, right? But they will have options, so there's a fair chance that they will be something that you could trade both stock and option wise. So that's kind of what I mean, at least when I say trader friendly. And as you can kind of see here, we can kind of get some bird's eye view very quickly. I'm not a subscriber of FinViz, so I have to click off a few ads sometimes, but there's a small price to pay for their platform, I guess. It's just bird's eye view. Can't make a trade off of these. I wouldn't even want to try, but I can kind of see that, what do I like? What am I liking? Am I liking the fact that Take Two has kind of had this bottom, it's kind of consolidated over the last little week? You know what? I might want to go take a closer look at that. Or maybe you like that Verizon double bottomed and broke that trend line and has kind of pulled back. Maybe you want to go take a closer look at that. Maybe you're looking bearish. You're saying, EA is, running into its 50-day moving average right now. Let's go take a closer look at that. It's just an easy way to look at a lot of charts really quick. And while I can't imagine trying to build a trade off of these things, I know what I like as a trader. I know what type of patterns I gravitate towards. It's very easy. I found a couple of things that, I like this pattern. I like stocks that have just broken their trend line and pulled back to it. that's something that I like. So I'm going to go take a closer look at Verizon. When I take a closer look at them, maybe I'll find a trade. Maybe I'll find that looks a lot nicer with a bird's eye view, right? But again, there's no bad way to come up with a trade idea. So it's just a very easy way to quickly go through a bunch of stocks in a sector that has caught your attention for whatever reason. And again, we'll have that for each of the sectors. Just the World Watch, the All World ETF, the Emerging Market ETF, and the Dollar Index, as well as some final thoughts. So the Tackle newsletter is a big part of what we're doing each and every week here at Tackle Trading. In my opinion, it's always where you want to start as you're getting into the new trading week. Then you'll find our stock options commodity report. Coach Mark typically does our commodity report, does a great job keeping our team up to date on what's going on, both technically, fundamentally, as well as thematically in the world of commodities. It's really helpful to kind of know the backdrop of what's going on with gold and oil and all of that stuff. Not just if you're a futures trader too. I mean, obviously, if you're trading oil futures, that is important to know. But there are a lot of things that we can do through the equity market if we don't trade futures to take advantage of movement or, stagnation that sometimes you see within the world of commodities. Coach Mark does a great job keeping the team up to date with what's exactly going on in those major commodities each week. The stock and option report are going to be built fairly similar in a lot of ways. Let's come into the stock report here. And when I say that, basically, each week we want to make sure that our team has some quality trade setups, technically based setups, whether they're trading stock, options, or both. Right. And so that's true. A good technical pattern is a good technical pattern, whether or not I'm buying calls, doing bull calls, selling puts, buying shares of the stock. A good chart pattern is a good chart pattern. The vehicle that I'm choosing to use is my business, right? And that's kind of the approach that we're taking. We want to make sure that we have some good quality bullish and some good quality bearish trade setups going into each and every week. Now, where they're going to differ is, of course, in the stock report, these are stock-based trades. And while, hey, you could always go check and see if the option liquidity is there. If you want to do an option trade and we're comfortable with the liquidity, it was optionable, you will find that sometimes for sure, no big deal. That's fine, right? But there might be in the stock report simply because the options are not particularly liquid. The stock is, but the options just aren't great for whatever reason, right? And if the option liquidity is not great, you can trade it, but I wouldn't. So we can always trade it through the equity, especially us here in the States nowadays who have $0 commissions on stock and ETFs. At least many of us do these days, and that's very, very nice. We want to make sure you have some ideas. The discussion that we're going to be having in the video portion is going to be quite a bit, maybe not quite a bit, but that's really where you're going to start to see big differences in the stock and the option report. In the stock report, we're going to talk a little bit more about the processes, right? Because we're coming at it from a stock trader's point of view. Even if I choose to buy calls and I'm comfortable with liquidity or whatnot, still coming at it from that point of view. So we're talking more about processes, stop loss placement, management ideas, that confirmation, all of that fun stuff. Whereas in the option report, that stuff's every bit as important, right? It hasn't changed its importance by any means. We're going to spend a little bit more time talking about strategy selection. This might be a sensible time to sell some naked puts because volatility is really high. Oh, volatility is really low. Probably not a great time to sell, to do a credit based. Let's look more of a debit based type of a trade. So we'll talk a lot more about the strategy selection side in the video portion of the options report. I hope that kind of makes sense. As you can kind of see here, we'll have some bullish and some bearish trade candidates. And you can add as many and as few to your watch list as you want, right? I mean, that's kind of the way I think most of us use it is, we find the stocks that we like the pattern, we like the price, we like the option liquidity, we like the sector, we like the industry, whatever our reasons are our own, right? There's, if I don't like a trade, if I don't want to trade Newmont, I won't trade Newmont. Right? No one's ever going to make me trade anything I don't want to trade. So it's not unreasonable to, find the setups that you like for whatever reasons you like, add them to your watch list, and the rest, wish them the best, right? And move on. But you can add all to your watch list if you would like to do so. A couple of things that you can do in here on these embedded charts. These are the trading view charts. I always like to take a minute and show some of the big tools that I find particularly useful on this platform. If you hit this button right here, that's just going to get rid of your watch list. So you have more chart to work with. Hit it again, the watch list will be back. All right, so get a little more chart to work with. You can zoom up or down to size it out. You can also, hold your left mouse button down and back and forth. Same over on the dollars. So you can get this kind of size the way you would like. Yeah, I guess is the point along those lines. The default is set up to a daily chart. These are swing trade unless we, talk otherwise. And every now and then we will have something we're coming at more of a position point of view, and we'll always make sure to, discuss that and why. But as a whole, these are swing trading candidates. So the default to a daily chart is going to make the most sense, right? But there is, some customization if you want to go intraday for a stop loss or for an intraday entry. If you want to take a look at the weekly, take a longer term view of the stock, you can definitely do that. If you are one of the few out there that does prefer bar charts, easy to switch from candlesticks to bars. I still know a couple people who do the bar chart. I'm not a bar chart guy, never was, but to each their own. If you want to add an indicator or two, your button's going to be right here. Just smack that. I always like to add the average true range, and that's all. Do be aware that it's not going to save. So before you add 6 different indicators, be aware that if you leave the page and come back, those indicators are not coming back with you. So just be aware of that. If you want to size the indicator, I don't need the ATR to be this big. All I'm looking for is the number here. Just going to hold my left mouse button down on the wall between the volume and the newly added indicator here, hold it down, and I can scrunch it down or up as I need to do so. So again, you can kind of get it sized out the way that I want. Your trend line tool is going to be up here. So if we are, this is a little bit of a reverse, head and shoulders type of pattern, a little breakout type of a pattern, right? But we also might say, we've got these higher lows developed here as well. So you can, draw your trend lines, whether it's horizontal, support resistance, or, a trend line. If you don't need it, you can just click on it and hit that trash bin. That will get rid of it for you there. You will find in here where you can prep a, long or a short trade. So this is a, head and shoulders breakout here. So I'm going to go long position. I'm not going to get super specific, but just to kind of give us some ideas. I want to come in above that resistance level. I'm just going to call it $66. So that's where my entry would be. My target price is this pivot right here, let's just say, right? Maybe that's my first target, maybe that's my second target, but let's just go with it for a minute. I want my stop loss below today's low, right? So let's just say that's the trade that I'm putting together right now. I can take a look here and I can see that for every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.07 in potential gain if it worked its way up to that target price. Most of us as swing traders do have that 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio rule, right? If I'm risking $1, I need to have expectations of getting 2 back. I think it's a good rule. There's a reason why most of us use it. Certainly I use it as well. Maybe you are, maybe you want your stop loss down below this last swing low. Now that's a good place for a stop loss, but your risk to reward is not particularly great, at least if that's your target, right? It's about 1-to-1. Let you know, okay, well, that's not what that was my first target. My second target was all the way back up here at $78 or whatever the case was. So really can help you map out your trade, does some of the math for you. So, the risk to reward is there for you as well. It's a really, really handy little tool. You will find it for both the bulls and the bears. So if you're looking at a bearish trade, say we like the bearish retracement here on Rocket here, and we're just going to be really fast below today's lows where we wanted to get in with our stop loss above that high of last week with our target price back down here to this recent low. Easy, does the math for me, saves me a tremendous amount of time. So I always like to bring that one up as well. There's some other things that you can do in there for sure, but those are some of the big ones I always like to take a couple minutes to explain because I use them a lot. I find them very handy, and hopefully you will as well. Again, you can expect these reports to be delivered to you by Saturday afternoon. So you have plenty of time to get through any or all of them before the market opens back up. It's, in my opinion, you always want to start with the newsletter and work down, right? Take that top-down approach to that trading. But we want to make sure that you always have some quality trade ideas going into each and every week. And there's, like I said, it's, if you don't like an idea, that's fine. It's not about what you don't like. It's about what you do like and want to add to your watch list, right? If you don't like something, you don't have to, tell me, explain to me why, right? You like what you like, just like I like what I like, right? Imagine we like a lot of the same things as traders, but I'm sure I kind of like certain things a little bit more than you, and you like certain things a little bit more than me, and that's perfectly normal. As we get wrapping up here, we do have our Tackle Today daily email, just a quick email each and every market morning. You can get signed up for that. If you go directly into Tackle Today, you can sign up for the email there. You can also read it on this page. It will get delivered to your inbox much faster, but if you prefer to read it here, if you're already here, you can read the Tackle daily here as well. We are active on all of the major social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. If you're using any of those platforms, I certainly invite you to come on over and join us. Just another, way to engage with members of the team. While I think in a lot of ways we're probably at this point best known for a lot of the live stuff that we do on YouTube, primarily the halftime report that we're doing each day, but we've also, got the Trade Masters webinar, special webinars that we're doing. So, and I think in a lot of ways, we're probably best known for our live content on YouTube, which is awesome. But we also have a whole heck of a lot of other stuff on our channel, and we're always looking to add more. We have, a lot of what are how-tos, walkthroughs, thinkorswim tutorials. So certainly invite you to come on over and join us at YouTube and give us the old subscribe and notification bell. That certainly does help us out with YouTube. So I certainly invite you to join us over there as well. Don't forget that next Monday night, we will be doing the boomerang webinar. It's going to be really cool. A lot of people are unfamiliar with that boomerang strategy, but it is a great cash flow strategy and probably worth at least, exploring a little bit. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, but I'm a big believer that everybody should trade what they want because they want to, not because they feel like they can't trade the other stuff. If you don't want to trade something, that's fine with me, but I never want anybody to feel like they can't because it's above their pay grade or whatever the case might be. So come on over and join us next Monday night. Hope to see you there on that webinar, Boomerang, next Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully this explained kind of what's going on here at Tackle Trading, what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it. As you're getting to know us a little bit better, whether you're just joining us as a pro member. If you are, great to have you with us. I very much look forward to getting to know you more and more, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you around a lot, and you'll be seeing me around a lot as well, whether it's the shows, Discord, YouTube, whatever the case might be. Look very much forward to getting to know you. If you're just checking us out, not a pro member yet, that's great too. We love we love and appreciate you as well. We do have a standing offer of a free 15-day trial, so you can come in, see what's going on in the back on the back end here, see if it's a good fit. You can find that link in any of the descriptions of our YouTube videos. You can also find it over in the store or send us an email to team at Tackle Trading. We'd be happy to get you set up, but certainly appreciate everybody taking some time this Monday evening to get to know us a little bit better. I'll let you go tonight, but thank you so much for your time. Hopefully this gave you a better idea of who we are at Tackle Trading and what we're about. I look forward to getting to know you better. I'll see you around for sure. This won't be goodbye. This will just be good night. Never hesitate to reach out. If you need anything, you can always reach out to us. Never hesitate. That's exactly what we're here to do for. So get out of here. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Welcome to Team Tackle. Great to have you as part of the team. Happy New Year to you in a few days, and I will see you very, very soon. But until then, good night.